Neeraj Ghaywan.
Yeah.
Ishaan Khatter, he's
supposedly we could stop them.
they had like about 6 or 7 beautiful women following. How do you do that? I'm going to follow you for a month.
Looking forward to it, sir.
Really? You share on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And we have the other very handsome Vishal Jethwa.
But he looks like a school kid. Look at him,
How young he is. Anyway, thank you for being here. And I don't need to introduce Meta Jaishankar. She's a star in India. She will be moderating. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming out on a rainy night, but this film is really worth coming out for, so I'm glad that you're all here. First of all, just can you raise your hand if you know a bit of the background of this film? If anyone's read up about the film. Only a couple of people, interesting. Well, actually, this film won the Grand Prix in Cannes. It's won several awards since then. And so there are a lot of amazing in-depth interviews on YouTube that I highly recommend watching, including a Q&A with this lovely gentleman, Martin Scorsese. But given this audience, I just want to begin by asking, it was very hard to do questions for this, and I felt like a mosquito in a nudist speech. I didn't know where to begin. But I'm going to begin with this, which is, this began with a New York Times article and a photograph. I highly recommend reading the article after this, but can you talk about how you were inspired by the article and what aspects you kept and what you fictionalized?
Thank you everyone for coming in on a rainy night. Am I audible? I think so. Well, it started with this article, this op-ed essay on the New York Times written by Vishal Jethwa. It is based on a true story. It happened to two boys, Mohammad Sayyid and Amrit Kumar, whose image on Twitter went viral, the one that you see at the end. That was wrote in as a piece. And when I read the story, I immediately jumped at it, and obviously I could relate a lot with it because I come from the same Dalit background as Chandan and also the character Amrit Kumar. I felt that we could use this as a springboard to talk about the perfect vehicle of friendship and camaraderie to talk about a lot of things that we see, not just in India but globally. The big question of why do people move out of their homes and move to other cities, especially migrants, especially from India. What makes them move from their homes in villages to places? In India, roughly about like 500 to 600 internal migrants exist, and most of them are from the marginalized communities. And something that not many people know is that 70% of them are women. Primarily think that migrants means men, but actually it's the reverse, and that's another thing, by the way. So this piece really gave that platform to talk about the searing need, the urgency to call for empathy in a time where the whole world is going through a whole cycle of hatred and othering and disenfranchising and segregation. So this is an attempt to ask for empathy and to reach out to people to even talk to your adversary and speak about it. So that's how the film came about, and also to make it possible, even in the screenplay, I tried to put in a lot of my own personal experiences, especially with Chandan's arc, because even I have sort of masqueraded as an upper caste member for a very long time, and I carried that shame, and I wanted to put it in the film. And I don't want to feel like a victim anymore, and I thought the shame should always be with the oppressor, not with me. And hence it was necessary to exonerate, to like say, exercise my demons and put it out in the film. That was the idea.
I don't know if any of you know of Dr. Ambedkar, but can you explain who he is and why he's so relevant to you and also so integrated into this film?
Mira, before I answer that, a bit closer to the earlier question,
Yeah, sure.
what I forgot to mention was that in the actual story, what happened was that they actually made it to a hospital, and for 3 days he was there, and he died, and then he had to wait for the COVID test, so he was not allowed to take the body home, and for 3 days the body was rotting, and finally he took the body home, and Mohammed Sayyid was Shoaib. He, in fact, did go to Dubai, and yeah, but I wanted to give out a message of hope, and that's the change that brought in. And yeah, about Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, he's like he's the architect of Indian Constitution. He fought a lot for equal rights for people from the oppressed caste, and he got them various opportunities. He got them forgot the term that he used here. The
Liberty.
no, the equal rights basically, like in various in academia and judiciary,
Civil rights.
in all those,
Word mobility.
yeah. Sorry, affirmative action. That's the word.
Yeah, affirmative action.
So he got that for many people, and then he fought for various other things. Like most importantly, that is not written much is fighting for women's rights, the civil code. And he is sort of like, if you want to understand from American's perspective, he'd be like the Martin Luther King of India, who really fought so hard. And in the context of the film, that his main motto throughout his life has been educate, agitate, and organize. And that is what the core message of the film is also, that for people from the marginalized community, it is education that can not fully liberate you, but at least get you to a point where you can ask and understand and comprehend and ask for social capital that could give you upward mobility.
Talking about the patriarchy, there was an interview I watched with you and Anupama Chopra where you talked about how you were one brother and three sisters?
Yeah.
Two sisters? Three sisters?
Please.
Can you talk about a little bit about that and how patriarchy is portrayed in this movie? There's a lot of machoism kind of balanced out with a softness as well between these two characters. Among other things, Sula's character, and there are also powerful mothers in this film. So can you talk a little bit about that?
It's not by design, but I think a lot of, in most of the limited work that I've done, it's always that the women have come out stronger. It's not by design, but I think it's by unconscious choice, which is shaped from my own upbringing of three elder sisters and a mother from a patriarchal household. And I was favored more, and I carried that shame for a long time. I did not feel good. Like my sisters would talk to my nephews and nieces and tell them how cute I was and how favored I was. But I told them that it's not because of I was cute. It was because I was male. And I wanted to put that shame out there as well, and to call out my own self in that process. Because, regardless of what marginalized community or any community that you see across the world, regardless of race, religion, geography, you'll always find one thing common across the board is patriarchy. Even in LGBTQI, you'll find patriarchy. So that had to be called out in a way. And if you see the, yeah, my sister, Vishal is actually the name of my own sister, and she briefly is there in the wedding somewhere. There is also, if you see the three women in the film, like the four women, they also carry, like even Shoaib's mother, because the father is unwell, she's literally carrying the emotional and the physical labor of the household. And both the mothers are carrying that. They're stronger than their men. And Sudha, of course, and even Vaishali, they both are looking out for education. That is the core message of the film, and how they carry that burden and pain. And, that's the beauty of, like, I mean, being a feminist, I didn't want to make a film just about two dudes, It had to have Yeah, and also these men, I think it's alluding to the fact that they may be shaped, their generosity and their kindness is shaped from the women that are around them. It's probably that.
No, Vishal, glad to see you're still alive. How's he as a director? And is there a particular scene that he directed with you guys that still stays with you to this day?
Yes, actually, sir. Okay. Did she ask me how is he as a director?
हाँ,
Yeah.
मैंने पूछा हाँ.
आपने पूछा है कि how is he as a director? Who am I to talk about it? People have seen the film and know.
I don't know, you've worked with other directors before, how is he compared to them? No, but can you talk about a scene that, there's so many amazing scenes in this film, but was there one that has really stayed with you?
No, thank God you asked me this. Neeraj sir is one of the best director I have worked with, and there are many reasons to it. So especially so when you come on set, he has already done his homework with the film, like about 3.5 years or so. So when you are on set, you are clear with everything. You do not have to work so hard. He's the best guide, and according to me, for an actor, it is there are two weapons that helps you to understand the story, and even if you have any kind of doubt. So according to me, one is the script, and the second is director. And if you have director like, and I also love this combination of where the writer is only the director of the film, so it helps um, us to perform better because he can get into subtext in a better way. Also, the one scene, um, um, I think for me, there is one scene that describes Chandan's character a lot, and it was very difficult for me also to shoot because that was the first scene I shot for the film. Um, and that scene is where Chandan Kumar comes to the recruitment office, and the officer in front of him just puts him in a spot where he doesn't have even a single option to escape, and he's made feel ashamed of who he is and what is his name. He asks him about his caste, who he is, and that feeling is very horrible according to me because you all can connect that every one of us have been in this spot some in some or the other way, where we are put in a spot where we feel that microaggression in us we cannot uh, hold it to. I mean, we cannot take it also, and at the same time, we want to just stand up and retaliate, but we can't do that also. So, and that feeling is very horrible. That scene, according to me, stayed with me, and that is a main. Um, uh, who Chandan is, like that scene talks about who Chandan is. That is very important scene, and I tried to hold that emotion throughout the filming of the film, and that because that scene talks so much about Chandan. So I think that was the most toughest scene according to me.
Yeah. So thank you for asking that question, first of all, because he doesn't like to hear this.
I know.
But unfortunately, I'll have to say the truth. First of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. This is a film that we are all very proud of. Foremost for the fact that, I mean, I think as an audience, if I separate myself from it, I would say I think it's objectively an excellently made film. But for me, the reason I'm proud of it is because it's intentional and honest first, and it's a sincere effort. Neeraj Ghaywan is one of one. 10 years ago, he made a beautiful film called Masan, which won two of the most prestigious awards at On Certain Regard, the FIPRESTI, and most promising director, as
Which
he
is far to come.
and he delivered on it. I have to correct you. We did not win the Grand Prix at Cannes. That was All We Imagine Is Light last year, but we won a lot of hearts, and we're very proud of that. And we did win an award at TIFF. Having said that, Neeraj as a director, I think, comes from a place where he is a person first, a human being first. I think there's an urgent sense of responsibility in this man. He's probably one of the most socially conscious men that I have met in my life. Um, and that is not because it is the right thing to be, it is just who he is. And that is why his films have such a strong voice. Having said that, the craftsman in him and the director in him and the film person in him always puts the story first and not his politics. And that's why I think it's a deadly combination. He's a wonderful man and he's an excellent filmmaker.
You're gonna make me melt now.
No, in more ways than one. He makes the set the most wonderful place to be for every single person, whether it's the actors, whether it's the crew members. Every single person is seen, is humanized. You're encouraged to call everybody by their names, not as a spot dada or a light dada or their designation. There is a respect for the work we're doing, there's a sincerity, and yet it's not so serious that you can not go there and have a fun time. So it's a dream, honestly, and I'm ruined, and I don't think I can do a movie with another director after this, but I'll have to. Anyway, one scene that I would say, there are far too many, and I don't think any of this film would exist the way that it did without Neeraj's guidance. But there is a beautiful scene between the two boys where it's the lowest moment for Shoaib when he's had to leave his job, resign after being humiliated at this cricket scene, at the boss's house, and at the same time, in an effort to hold on to his dignity, he has to let go of the job that allows him to take care of his father and pay for his father's medical bills. And so he's he's at his lowest, and the only person he can seek refuge in, despite having fought with him, is his best friend Chandan. And so he arrives at the door, and it's that scene basically where there are no words exchanged. It's all in a look, and you sense there is an apology, and you sense that there is an acceptance of that. And I think that scene to me describes who he is as a filmmaker.
Yeah. Wow.
I have so many more questions, but I have one last question before I give it to the audience. Where's Apurva? There he is. Everyone, that's one of the most prolific producers in the world. How did you recruit him and that guy named Martin Scorsese, amongst others? Melon, is that her name? Your French producer.
Melita, yeah.
Melita, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Got
Pretty
my
sure they
brain.
recruited you.
Yeah, I mean, so Melita dos Conde Plantier, she's my producer on Masan, who's now a co-producer on this film. And she's been my sort of a cinema god fairy from France. And she originally had shown Masan to him, to Mr. Martin Scorsese, and he liked it. He wanted to come on board at that time, but the producers fought among themselves. So that went out of the window. So 10 years later, I think when I thought this opportunity could be the one where we could have him read the script, and he read the script and he immediately wanted to be on board. We did. So the thing is that he's done a couple of rounds on the script with me, back and forth. He would tell me that stick with the boys, always as filmmakers, we are indulgent and we don't even know about it. Objectivity is the biggest weapon that we miss because you're so attached to your baby and you can't see what's right and what's wrong. And his piece of that advice really helped me, even in the edit. After a couple of rounds, and then we shot, and then at the edit, we saw the first cut. Then we did some back and forth rounds with him. And all of this 2 years of association with him is completely selfless. And that is the value of this generosity of this man, that's the reason why he's called. I'm sorry.
It's called.
Yeah, that's the reason he's called the master filmmaker that we all independent filmmakers respect and adhere. We really look up to him. So his association has been really great, and I want to acknowledge the fact that Dharma Productions has been such a huge supporter of this film, including Karan and Purva, who stood like a rock along with this film at every stage. You know, to have an independent filmmaker to make a film with the biggest studio in the country and to have the absolute freedom to make it the way and to give me the complete trust is a rarity. You know, this kind of combination of like a big studio, independent filmmaker, great stars, Mr. Scorsese coming through is a rarity, and that hopefully leads to like a newer models of filmmaking.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, we have about 5 minutes left, so I'd like to open up for 1 or 2 questions from the audience. Let's see, who do I pick? I'll pick this gentleman, you were first.
Thank you. Considering that Narendra Modi made his reputation persecuting Muslims, how was this film received in India?
So, I mean, the thing is that we got delayed because we didn't get the census certificate in time. So, we didn't have much marketing time, but the response has been amazing. And you know, quite honestly, I'd like to say that, you know, our film is not anarchy. It's not built on outrage. It's not built on a sense of hatred against anyone. Our film is pro-establishment. Our film is a genuine effort to like to empathize with people. Like it is an attempt to make you introspect. You know, because there's so much of hatred going on around this world that it's about time that we actually maybe rethink and maybe empathize even with our adversary. Even so, if they are ideologically different, even so, if their worldviews are different from ours, we've got to offer the empathy because everybody is a victim of history of undue tutelage of misinformation, all of those things. And maybe, you know, if we sit across and treat each other as humans, we'll see the perspectives on either sides. And that's exactly what this film is trying to offer. So, yeah, it's been great.
Thank you for that. One more question? Right here.
Thank you. So first of all, thank you for making such a great movie as a filmmaker, and I'm also from Afghanistan. So I relate to this quite a lot in so many ways as a Muslim, being an Afghan, completely outside of what I'd say, not being accepted in the society very easily. Anyway, one of the scenes that I absolutely loved for me was the last scene, where obviously Chandan dies, and then he is sort of represented back with a beautiful dove, the white dove.
Yes.
So I just want to know, where did you get that idea from? Because that really touched me.
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, so what she's asked is that she's asked me about how the dove that comes at the end, and she could relate a lot with, sorry, she could relate with the film a lot because of where she comes from. She comes from Afghanistan, and she talks about the end where Shoaib sitting across and looking at a dove. So that was the whole idea that, you know, the how feelings can reincarnate, how attachments and connections can reincarnate, not just like humans, but also like strangest moments. Like it could be a dove, it could be a quiet moment, just sitting in silence, and maybe you just get a breeze and you get a feeling of like it could be just a song. You know, connection is rare. It's mythical because you don't know where you'll find a connection. I think that's what happens is that um, he's made he's finally able to fulfill the friend's dreams. You know, he could have gone to Dubai, but he stays back because Chandan insisted that he should pursue education, and he thought he will stay back. I mean, the friend pushed him. So he stays back and he finally has peace because it's the long cherished dream of Chandan to make the house, which actually also happened in real life, is made. And but still that insurmountable amount of gap that lives inside you, how it makes you hollow. That when you lose someone that you cherish deeply, that hollowness is very difficult to fill in, you know. And we can just find when people that you really love, when they move on, they come in the form of your deepest moments of either pride or happiness, or even your lowest moments, they come and they sit next to you and they hold your hand. In some ways, it's also a dove that sits next to you, the same spot that Chandan used to sit. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Unfortunately, we have to wrap now, but we'll be outside in the
Yeah.
lobby, and thank you so much for coming out again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.